So guys, your plan versus God's purpose for you. I remember vividly about, I'd say just last year, 2024 was a very interesting year. I remember thinking to myself that now that I've moved out, now that I have my place, I know my plan, I know what I need to do. To some extent, that's actually a very good thing to have. But over those months in 2024, I realized quite a few things, and that was something that I didn't know about it. But until I understood this one thing, your plan and God's purpose are two different things. Let me explain exactly what I mean. So when I moved out, I had all these plans, I had all these ideas, I had all these thoughts. Right, I know what I need to do. Again, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but one thing that I failed to understand is that sometimes your plans and God's purpose for you don't align, don't match. And why do I say that now? Because my plans, I've been trying them for quite some time, and I kept on just getting more and more difficult to make it happen. And then I started doing something very simple, like we all do. Oh my God, the universe, the God doesn't want me to achieve this. God doesn't want me to do that. You start blaming on a few things. Even yourself, I blame myself because I thought I don't have this. Or maybe things are not working out well, my plans in this case, because I don't have X, don't have Y and Z yet. So in the context of YouTube, when I first moved out, I had a whole studio, I had the whole lighting, the gadget, everything that I needed to get started on YouTube with my YouTube plans. But as it turns out, it wasn't working out well. It wasn't. Given a good 1 year, I gave it 12 months shots on that, and I gave up. And then I tried again in the previous years, and I gave up. So between 2022 and 2024, so much has happened, and all my plans that I had in my head that I wanted to do, that I thought it was for me, none of them worked. Guys, I started a new brand called Best Lifestyle. Then I started by e-commerce brand, basically selling skincare products, selling men's products and for face scrubs and all that stuff, like a lot of things. I started that didn't work. I was like, cool, then put this to the side, then focus on YouTube, do more like a sort of vlog style videos where I do film like this, cinematic shots. I tried all that. For some reason, I wasn't feeling it. Okay, then I said to myself, all right, Bruno, so let me start maybe since I like to train, maybe my plan is to make a digital product. So I create a whole digital product. I went to the gym, I created all these workouts, showing people how to work out, how to get their chest, how to do things well. So finish that, create the whole digital product, nice, finish all that, went out, started telling people about the product, and nobody bought the product. No one was interested. I was like, gosh, I'm doing so much here. I thought you want me to, become this fitness influencer, that show people how to, gain weight, how to become, big and lean, how to train to feel good and to look good. That didn't work. It's like, damn, God, I don't know what you want me to do now. Like, why you give me this idea? Why do you make me feel this way? Because I felt like, obviously, I like gym, I like training. I like taking care of my skin. I like a lot of things about men. As for selling this product would be great. Then I thought to myself that doing this type of video, which is something that I really enjoy watching, I thought that would be my purpose, my plans. Oh no, I just had bad plans basically. I had a lot of plans, and I was like, cool. And for the years, I just kept on getting more and more confused, more lost to what God wanted me to do. I was like, damn, this makes no sense. I'm here My plans are not working out. Nothing is working out. Nothing. Like everything that I tried is somewhat gets to this end, and it's just, I start this new project, and I was thinking to myself, like, what's going on? And I lost motivation. I just lost faith in the products and the ideas. I thought to myself, maybe this is not it. This is not meant to happen. I even asked my friend, like, I thought, yeah, but you like training? Yeah, I like training. You're really good with this. I was trying to like create products, sell products, and do so many things, and it just wasn't working out. And eventually, I gave up on all of it. Everything. I just decided to stop. The Instagram Reels, the YouTube, the product I was selling called Base Lifestyle, which is a bunch of different products that men can buy. I stopped the digital product. I stopped trying to do the one-on-one call with people. Like, I stopped so many things, and then I realized that, and I came across this one quote from the Bible, this one verse I should say, that says something along the line of, men are the plans in a person's heart, but it is God's purpose that will prevail. I was like, So first time I read that, I was like, very interesting. But really, truly, men are the plan in a person's heart, but it is God's purpose that will prevail, that prevails. And then I was thought to myself, okay, that must be, it didn't make sense then. But the more I surrendered with all these ideas, and I had so many ideas that I'm thinking to myself, I want to do it. The more as soon as I surrendered, I felt peaceful. I felt like all this pressure out of my shoulder. Not whenever I was feeling some type of way, because I realized my plans and God's plans for me, two different things. The plans I had in my head, it was something that was like, yeah, this is what I need to do. But God is like, hey, this is not for you. Even though you might do this, but let me teach you a lesson. That's not for you. I went through all that. Then started realizing, this is tiring. This is training. This is, I don't feel motivated to do it. I can't do it. It's too much. I can't do it. I tried. I was really being motivated. But again, motivation was like, I started it. And then at some point, it's like, yeah, this is not me. And it just crashed. Then I started realizing, actually, God's purpose for me is nothing to do with that. It really isn't. And my point is, sometimes we have to be aware of that. Sometimes we have to let go of all this expectation that we put on ourselves. I put this expectation on myself because I thought that was what God wanted. I'm not saying you shouldn't try, you shouldn't pursue. But when you start seeing a lot of friction in a few things, which I did see it, like there was a lot of friction, things wasn't going as smooth. Again, that's not to say that there should never be friction, but you should understand like this point where some things are just not for you. If you'd like to be a rapper and you see that things are not they're not working out well for you, and you've given a good shot, and if this one thing that you're trying to do right now trains you, motivation is always ups and down, and there's a lot of friction in between, maybe that's just, may not be for you. But the solution really truly was to, meditate on the Bible scriptures. Really start reading, start understanding. That's how I came across this verse that really mentioned that, like, your plans are great, you can try them, but really truly, wherever God has help for you, that's what's gonna prevail, not your plans. And I've seen that in so many aspects of my life. In my last relationship, I had my plans, and I thought to myself, yeah, this person is great for me, but God's like, this is not for you. I was like, no, she is for me. I can see it. God's like, no, let me show you a few signs. I'm like, nah, man, this is okay. We can deal with that. And more signs. Like, gosh, what do you want me to do? And then a few months later, we broke up, and things didn't happen because there was a lot of things there. But I thought my plan is greater than God's. Like, God, who are you to tell me I like this person, love them? I like how this and that works. But God's like, yeah, but I just want to show you something for you to learn. And I learned a few things, and I'm like, wow, okay, now I'm aware of this. It's like, let me prepare you for the next step. And then so when I went through all the things I've done in the past, now, just between the year 22 and 24, I realized so many things, and there are things that I know now I wouldn't go back and do it. And if I do it, it needs to be like God, like I need to feel like this is it, you know. And then now the question that I beg is like, oh wait, look at what I'm doing now. I'm still doing YouTube, right? But the difference is, compared to my previous videos, I was never consistent. I couldn't be consistent once a week. And I post here every day. If you look at since March, I've been posting every day. And then you'll be thinking, how can you do that now? How are you able to do it now? It's because I was trying to do something that really wasn't for me. That whole idea of YouTube videos with cinematic shots, camera here, camera there, camera that side, me cooking, it just wasn't. It wasn't. It just wasn't that. And then someone will say, oh, but you're just lazy. No, some people that post like that kind of videos, those cinematic videos, they do it once a month. It takes a lot of time for them, but they enjoy that process. They love it. I love watching it, but I didn't really enjoy making that kind of video. Does that make sense? Anyways, the point I'm trying to make here is that you will have a lot of plans. You will have a lot of plans. As you go through life, you start realizing those plans, they're not for you. That one person you thought you were like in love with, maybe you was, it wasn't for you, because then you realize so many things about them. You learn so much about you. Again, it's still a lesson, still valuable, but my point is, God's plan for you will always be superior than anything else that you may consider to be your plan. You know, you may think this is what you need to do because that's how you feel about it and you strongly feel about it. But in the end, God will reveal His plan for you. You know, it is a bit hard to explain it until you go through it, because a lot of the things I do now are very much like a lot more frictionless, you know. Like, if it was meant for you, God is not trying to make it difficult, you know, that promotion. And you always tell God, oh my God, why am I still suffering through this? Why am I not getting that promotion? It is nothing to do with God. Maybe He's just not ready for that promotion. You know, I had a similar issue with my job. I've been like looking for a job, you know, in a particular area, and then and I thought I had the skills. I was confident that I had the skills. I was like, yeah, why is this company not hiring me? Why am I going through these interviews? And then I get to the couple of stages, and then I get rejected. And I was like, damn, God, what do you want me to do? So I got so many rejections that I learned so much about why I'm getting rejected. And turns out there was a few skills that I was missing. There were a few things I didn't quite understand. And I felt like I was trying to wing it, really. That's it. As soon as those interviews were flopping, it makes sense, because that wasn't for me. And the jobs that I applied to that rejected me that's ready. I wasn't ready for that kind of job, actually. I thought I was ready. I thought I had it all. And I kept on getting rejected, and I kept on saying, God, what did I do wrong? And then over time, I realized, oh my God, there are a few skills here that is not for me. And some of the jobs, I'm so glad I didn't get it, because I wasn't ready to join these companies and do this kind of job. Now, after a few months, I understood the skills I was lacking, and then I went ahead, really truly studied them, practiced them, put them into practice, and a few 2 months ago now, I got a new job, I got a new role, and I was like, wow. Again, I'm like, all those jobs that got rejected, it wasn't in vain. It was like telling me something. It was telling me something. I was ignoring that. I was like, yeah, but how are these skills? I've seen this, I've been exposed to that. But it's like, this is tech. This is not for you. You're not ready for this job. And the job I go, I'm assuming I might not be 100% ready for it, but I'm just ready enough to get into it, and I know I'll learn a lot more along the way anyway. So, yes, my point really is, I hope it's clear, guys. It is very much, sometimes your plans are your plans. God's plan for you is God's plan for you. But because God's plan for you is always superior, will always, beat anything else that you do, you end up doing what God has set up to do, even though you might feel like very strong about like my plans and all that. And sometimes your plan will actually align with God's plan, And that only happens when you're actually doing what God has intended for you. Does that make sense? So it is fascinating the way God's work, and I do think He's just doing it for us. He's just trying to make our life, more interesting, trying to make it the way He has intended it to be. And along the way, you learn so much, and you understand what you like and what you don't like. So if you're in a position where you feel like nothing's working out for you, pray to God for clarity. Get yourself, start reading the scriptures, start understanding some of the, message that Jesus Christ has shared with us, and you will see, and this one was one of the big one for me, men that says that men are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the God's purpose that will always prevails. So that was really good, and it helped me understand that, sometimes my plans might be cool, but God's purpose for me will always prevail, no matter why I'm here making video about it now. But anyways, I hope that makes sense. Please go and pray more for clarity and try to understand that God really wants what's the best for you. It will eventually be clear. It takes some time, by the way. It doesn't happen overnight. I spent 2-3 years just figuring out what's happening, and here I am. Anyways, I'll catch you guys later, and peace, ciao, take care, bye.